Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, the threat to America's power grid and your home. Attacks on power stations have investigators looking at ways to protect the electric grid from enemies, foreign and domestic.
We've got a bunch of enemies now that hate this country, and some are internal. So it should cause us to go, hey, well, wait a minute now. We need to really look at hardening up our grids.
In a reversal of policy, the Biden administration will now send powerful U.S. M1 tanks to Ukraine. Allies are supporting the move. Russia is blasting it. Republicans on Capitol Hill look to move from a controversial bill to get rid of the income tax, replacing it with a national sales tax. Critics say it would raise taxes on the middle class. The final episodes of The Chosen's third season set to premiere in theaters nationwide a week from today. We'll hear from the actor who portrays Little James, Jordan Walker Ross.
It's been, the biggest blessing of my career and one of the biggest blessings of my life. And I'm so honored to be a part of it.
As he talks about one of the most powerful scenes from the season, along with a hint of what we can expect from the finale. And we'll bring you a look at a powerful revival, changing lives as people are healed and set free from addiction in a small community in Kentucky. These stories and more today on CBN NewsWatch.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
Begin this half hour with some important questions. What would you do if your lights went out? How about your heating or your business was shut down because your power was gone? There are growing concerns such a scenario could happen after a recent attacks on several power substations in the Carolinas. Those attacks are spurring state legislators to take action. A North Carolina proposal requires utilities to have 24-hour security at stations that provide power to local communities. In South Carolina, Duke Energy is asking lawmakers to impose harsher penalties for those convicted of damaging substations. One bill in the state Senate includes a maximum 25-year jail sentence if someone dies as a result of a power outage caused by an attack. Meanwhile, security analysts are calling for national action to strengthen and upgrade the power grid across the country. As Chuck Holton shows us, while attacks are taking place with greater frequency, they've happened before.
April 16, 2013, a Silicon Valley electrical substation came under rifle fire in a coordinated and well-planned attack, causing millions in damages and nearly taking out power to Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and Intel. In the 10 years since that attack, no culprit has been found. Was it terrorism or vandalism? We still don't know. Now, a new wave is targeting America's electrical grid. On December 3rd, 2 North Carolina substations were shot at, knocking out power to 40,000 homes and businesses. Then on Christmas Day, 4 substations were vandalized in Washington state.
All 3 happened in the middle of the night on Christmas Day, causing power outages. There's a good possibility they are related. We're going to be investigating to see if this was coordinated by a specific group or people. While authorities search for suspects, what they really need are answers. We are aware of other incidents that occurred in Oregon and southern Washington, as well as the incidents from North Carolina earlier in this wintertime. We're going to see if any of this stuff is related to that. There are almost 79,000 of these electrical power substations all across the United States, connecting nearly 500,000 miles of power lines in 3 big power grids. Now, when these things were built, there wasn't much thought given to security, so most of them look about like this one, a rusty old gate and a chain link fence, safeguarding millions of dollars worth of equipment just inside there, like those ultra high voltage transformers over there, which are all custom built. That means that if they get destroyed, it might take up to a year to replace them. And that's causing the authorities to start to see this as a real threat to our national security.
20 years ago, I was on a task force with Homeland Security as part of the Secretary's office, and we were looking at exactly what's happening today And unfortunately, it's gotten worse since then.
The Federal Energy Regulatory Commission has called on local power co-ops to conduct a security evaluation of all substations by the end of April, and will then make recommendations on how to better secure America's power supply. But it's a daunting task.
We've got a bunch of enemies now that hate this country, and some are internal. So it should cause us to go, hey, well, wait a minute now. We need to really look at hardening up our grids.
The 2013 attacks in California cost Pacific Gas and Electric more than $150 million for security upgrades. So fixing this problem won't be cheap.
The infrastructure law passed last year includes $15 billion to upgrade and strengthen the power grid. But some energy experts estimate it would cost as much as $5 trillion to modernize and upgrade protection of the country's electric system.
We definitely need to look at making some of our key facilities way more hardened than they are. But the real issue is, how do we create redundancy within the system to make sure that if one element fails, our whole grids are not going down?
Chuck Holton, CBN News.
The Department of Justice has filed charges against 2 Florida residents for attacks on crisis pregnancy centers in the state. They're the first federal indictments filed after dozens of attacks against pro-life groups across the nation. The suspects are accused of spray painting threats on one center and targeting 3 others. The Religious Freedom Institute reports attacks on at least 63 pro-life groups since the leaked Supreme Court decision overturning Roe versus Wade. In Washington, a move to strengthen the historic Abraham Accords, which have been a bright spot in promoting peace between Israel and its neighbors. A bipartisan group of senators traveled to the Middle East last week and said the accords are helping to transform the region in ways that were once unimaginable.
It's no great secret that the 7 of us don't all agree on every issue, but we're all very passionate about what's happening in the Abraham Accords. And we find a common ground there to be able to work on and see what we can do to be able to help encourage every way that we can to advance this agreement.
The bipartisan Senate Abraham Accords caucus wants to enhance the agreement by expanding it to include more countries. Turning now to the war in Ukraine, U.S. and NATO tanks have been approved to help Ukrainian soldiers defend their territory and reclaim areas overtaken by the Russians, including the powerful U.S. M1 Abrams tank. It is the latest of some 30 assistance packages gaining military support from NATO allies while sparking anger from the Kremlin. CBN's Brody Carter has this story.
As the war in Ukraine approaches its 2nd year, the United States, Germany, and the UK upped their ante in support of Ukraine, now sending tanks to help fight the Russians.
I'm announcing that the United States will be sending 31 Abrams tanks to Ukraine, the equivalent of 1 Ukrainian battalion.
NATO allies are also sending help. The UK has pledged to send 14 of its Challenger 2 battle tanks. Germany is releasing 14 Leopard 2 tanks, with up to 60 more Leopards coming from other countries.
About 2 battalions.
Peter Rowe with the Hudson Institute believes the move creates shared escalatory risk.
The Germans really are the key in Europe on this because the Leopard 2, which is really what the Ukrainians want, there are many Leopard 2s in Europe. There's a thriving spare parts market across the continent.
The German tank should be arriving in weeks. The Abrams could take up to a year, since the U.S. is manufacturing new ones for the Ukrainians.
When the ground hardens again for the summer, we could see a major Ukrainian offensive.
Wednesday's announcement is a reversal of U.S. policy. The Biden administration has delivered dozens of packages of military aid, the latest totaling more than $5 billion in the last month alone.
Together with our allies and partners, we've sent more than 3,000 armored vehicles, more than 8,000 artillery systems, more than 2 million rounds of artillery ammunition, and more than 50 advanced multi-launch rocket systems.
But I would just remind your viewers that a lot of that money never leaves the United States because it's money spent on U.S. systems that then go to the Ukrainians. And I would suggest we're getting a pretty good deal in that we're able to basically help dictate terms against the Russians in a major conventional war without shedding any American blood.
The Kremlin responded by calling the move blatant provocation. Wednesday, the Russian Defense Ministry released this video claiming to show a warship conducting hypersonic missile drills in western areas of the Atlantic Ocean. Ukrainian President Zelensky had requested up to 300 tanks. Yesterday, he tweeted his thanks to President Biden, now requesting F-16 fighter jets. Brody Carter, CBN News.
The parent company of Facebook says it will restore former President Donald Trump's personal account in the upcoming weeks. That will end a 2-year suspension it imposed in the wake of the Capitol Hill riot on January 6th. Meta, Facebook's parent company, said in a blog post it is adding new guardrails to ensure there are no repeat offenders who violate its rules, even if they are political candidates or world leaders. Nick Clegg, Meta's Vice President of Global Affairs, wrote that the public should be able to hear what their politicians are saying, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so they can make informed choices at the ballot box. Former President Trump was also recently reinstated on Twitter, although he hasn't tweeted anything just yet. Coming up, Republicans apparently ready to move on from a controversial proposal to abolish the income tax and replace it with a national sales tax that critics say would hurt the middle class. We're going to have that story for you when we come back. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has come out against a bill from a Republican congressman that would abolish the IRS and replace the federal taxes, including the income tax, with a national sales tax. The bill will likely only get a committee hearing, but not an actual vote on the House floor. Democrats have blasted the measure, and some Republicans oppose it as well. CBN's Abigail Robertson has this look at what the bill would do and why so many on both sides of the political spectrum are against it.
While Democrats and President Biden are working to boost the IRS by hiring 87,000 employees, Republicans have introduced a bill that could do away with the agency entirely, called the Fair Tax Act.
Very few people like paying taxes, but if they're going to pay taxes, they would much rather pay a consumption tax as opposed to a property tax.
Congressman Buddy Carter tells CBN News this bill gives people more control over their taxes.
In a consumption tax, you have control over how much tax you want to pay. You can decide if you want to buy a boat, you're going to pay taxes. If you don't want to pay taxes, don't buy the boat. Essentially, right now, Americans are paying 33 cents in taxes. This will bring it down to 23 cents. It's actually a 23% tax.
Critics say the bill would hurt Americans who make less money because as prices go up for basic necessities, they'll have to spend a higher share of their income on daily expenses. Carter claims the bill addresses that problem.
There is a prebate, and what happens is that at the first of the month, everyone will get a check so that you will be able to cover the bare necessities. That is food, shelter, clothing, the things that everybody has got to have. So you get that prebate to cover that, get you above the poverty line. Anything above that, that's your responsibility.
Even with Republicans in the majority in the House, it's not guaranteed the bill will pass. Speaker McCarthy himself has come out against it and reportedly only promised the bill would get a committee hearing.
It's seen as a political loser. Democrats are already kind of salivating at the chance to attack Republicans on this because it's widely seen, probably correctly, as shifting the tax burden to the middle class. That in order to bring in the same amount of money that the current tax system does.
Congressional Democrats call the plan extreme and crazy.
So-called Fair Tax Act is unfair, unconscionable, and un-American.
It'd be the largest tax increase for working Americans ever. I believe it could cause the next Great Depression if we were to impose it.
And President Biden is also criticizing it.
House Republicans are preparing to vote on a national sales tax bill. National sales tax, that's a great idea. It would raise taxes on the middle class by taxing thousands of everyday items from groceries to gas, while cutting taxes for the wealthiest Americans.
Biden plans to blast GOP economic proposals like the Fair Tax Act in a speech today, and he claims he stands ready to work with Republicans, but not on stuff like this. Reporting from the White House, Abigail Robertson, CBN News.
Still ahead, CBN's conversation with Jordan Walker-Ross, who plays Little James in The Chosen. He talks about the upcoming final 2 episodes of the 3rd season that will soon be playing in theaters across the country. We're going to hear what he has to say about the season finale right after this. Stay with us. It is the moment Chosen fans have waited for. A week from today, the final 2 episodes of Season 3 will premiere in theaters nationwide. So many people wanted tickets, they crashed the Ticketmaster website after the series creators made the announcement the show was going to be airing as a Fathom event. On this week's episode of The Global Lane, the actor who plays Little James, Jordan Walker-Ross, discusses one of the most popular scenes from Season 3 and gives us a hint of what to expect in the finale.
It's been, the biggest blessing of my career and one of the biggest blessings of my life. And I'm so honored to be a part of it.
Well, you do such a remarkable job in this. You really do. It's amazing. What a rich character to portray. So what makes this role so different for you, maybe even more challenging than the rest?
This is, playing Little James on The Chosen has been the most personal role that I've ever had the privilege of playing. Little James, there's not much known about him biblically, but Dallas Jenkins, when I auditioned, noticed that I had a limp, and that limp is a result of cerebral palsy and scoliosis, which is something that's limited my opportunities as an actor. So for every other role that I had ever played, I felt this pressure to hide my limp, to cover it up, to dial it down as much as possible. And that was because of what I was hearing from casting directors and agents and producers. And Dallas Jenkins was the first person to really embrace it and make it part of my character, which has added so many layers to Little James that weren't there before, and so many interesting aspects of this character that we've been able to explore since then. And that's all, led up to Little James's big come to Jesus meeting and in Season 3, where he asks the question that we've all asked at some point, which is, why not me? Why does this person, get healed and not me? Why does this person get this promotion but not me? This idea that we are constantly comparing ourselves to others.
Well, that was quite a compelling scene, a moving scene. I mean, it brought many people to tears. And let's look at a clip of that.
I could heal you right now. And you'd have a good story to tell, yes? Yes, that you do miracles. And that's a good story. But there are already dozens who can tell that story. And there will be hundreds more, even thousands. But think of the story that you have, especially in this journey to come, if I don't heal you.
Now, people can see the full scene from Season 3, Episode 2 by downloading the Chosen or Angel Studio apps. It's also on YouTube. Jordan, when you did that scene, did you realize how powerful it really was? I'm sure it helps many people who haven't received a healing, helps them to understand a little more about how God works and why.
Yeah, I mean, doing that scene was a really cathartic experience, because those are all questions I've asked myself. Those are all questions I've wrestled with over the years, and getting to act it out and in this controlled, safe environment was really powerful and therapeutic. And I knew it affected me on a very deep level, and it had the potential to affect others. But the response that we've gotten after that release has been overwhelming in all of the best ways. I've gotten probably thousands of messages and comments and emails from people who struggle with a wide range of disabilities or insecurities. And it's just been the most amazing thing, because as an actor, that's what we do this for. At least for me personally, I've always wanted to be a part of something that could impact people in a positive way long term. And I feel like I've been able to do that now.
Okay, quickly, I know there's going to be another Chosen Fathom event. The final 2 episodes are coming up on February 2nd and 3rd around the country, 3 p.m., 7 p.m. in theaters. The series creator, Dallas Jenkins, promised these episodes will be huge. So, all right, what can you tell us about the end of Season 3? I know you don't want to spoil it for us, but can you give us a little tease? Just a little bit?
Of course. So like you said, they're coming out February 2nd and 3rd. Go to fathomevents.com to get tickets. But yeah, these are easily our most cinematic, epic episodes that we've ever done. not just in terms of the scale of these scenes. You know, we shot the feeding of the 5,000 and had over 12,000 extras on set over the course of 3 days. So that alone is a pretty unheard of feat for any project. But in addition to that, there is so much more that happens in these last 2 episodes. There are all sorts of twists and surprises and exciting character developments. And if there were ever 2 episodes of The Chosen that demanded to be seen on the big screen, it's these 2. And I'm just so excited for people to experience them with an audience, because that's how they deserve to be experienced.
Okay, we're looking forward to it. And for another season, season 4, Jordan Walker-Ross, Little James from The Chosen. Keep up the good work. You're doing great. Thanks for being with us. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Also on this week's episode of The Global Lane, 13 years after the big quake in Haiti, a look at the effort to reunite orphan children with their families and the outspoken Christian faith of San Francisco rookie quarterback Brock Purdy. You can see these stories and more on The Global Lane this evening at 8:30 Eastern. You can find it on the CBN News Channel or the CBN News app, as well as on YouTube. Coming up, a revival in Kentucky has been touching hearts and changing lives for more than 2 months. We're going to bring you that story when we come back. Stay with us. A sweeping revival has been changing lives in a small community in southeastern Kentucky. For more than 70 nights, some 300 people have been turning out at North Main Community Church in Barberville. Pastor Scott Phipps told CBN News God is moving in a mighty way as people are delivered, healed, and set free from addiction, including a strong move of the Spirit among young people. Phipps, a former addict who confesses he once dealt drugs, says the small town revival is 29 years in the making. Time now for your Thursday Thankful. I want to leave you with this prayer of gratitude. God, thank you for seeing me as your wonderful creation. Help me to see me as you see me, to see beyond my fears, to see beyond my doubts, to see beyond my flaws. I want to see me as you see me. With that prayer, make today a day filled with gratitude. This is a Thursday to be thankful. That's going to do it for this edition of CBN News Watch. Remember, you can always find more of our programs on the CBN News Channel at any time, as well as online at cbnnews.com. We would love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today or any day. You can email us, newswatch@cbn.com. You can also reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Again, make this a thankful Thursday. Join us right back here, same time tomorrow. Goodbye and God bless.